Okay, well, so first, just want to give a big welcome to you all for being able to join us on this Wednesday evening. It seems like we've got a lot of interest, which is absolutely amazing. And so just the way that the next sort of hour is really just to give you an introduction to us three lovely ladies that are on here. So it's Anna and Cass and myself, and a little bit of what we do and where we're coming from the health perspective, and how we can give you more empowerment in your health. So ultimately to give you more that understanding that immunity and how you can boost your immune system more, and to create more balance, energy and flow in your life, which I know I certainly need more of as well. So we're all within this together. So we'll have questions and answers afterwards, and then we'll close it as well before we go off into a lovely peaceful evening. So we have Ana Munroe, who is a wonderful health coach, and she is very good at giving you these bite-sized sort of achievable self-care techniques that you can bring into your daily to-day sort of basis. And we have Cassandra Collins here, who is a Kundalini yoga and a sound therapist, and she has this beautiful way to be able to bring this sort of flow between the emotional and the physical and the metaphysical aspects. So she'll have this beautiful exercises for us afterwards to give us a little sort of more in tune with our body. Okay, so who I am, for those that don't know me, I'm Gemma, and I'm a remedial bodywork therapist, and I work the fascia, this myofascial part of the body, which is this envelope of the body from the skin right down to the cellular level. And actually, by connecting with the skin, you connect through all the aspects of our body, be that through the nerves, the soft tissues and muscles, through to the organs and the visceral system. And it's about creating space within the body that enables it to find its homeostasis, its balance and its flow. So each aspect of our body that has its own intrinsic part to play in our health is actually working to its optimum. And really my mission actually of what I've really found, especially through COVID, where I wasn't able to put my hands on people, was to really kind of give people the opportunity or the understanding of how they can help themselves. And I think that's really key in terms of our health empowerment. And if I could actually then ask yourselves right now, just start take a mental note of how empowered you feel about your health. So, give it a score of 1 to 10. And so 10 is like, you've got this, you understand your body, you're really connected to your body, you understand it. And when you're listening to parts of your body that you actually know what to do and how to sort of help your body, and you actually see pain and discomfort as often as a way of actually how you can grow from it and what you need to let go. Or you can score it down to the 1, which is actually you're in a lot of pain and discomforts and you feel kind of hopeless. You don't know what to do. You feel overwhelmed, and there's this real kind of element of stuck and sort of being sort of low about it. So you can give yourself a score between 1 and 10 and just sort of how empowered you feel. And I'll just give you a moment to think about that. Okay. So with this talk, it's about empowering you, and it's about connecting your mind and your body to really understand the wisdom that you have within the body, and to give you those self-care techniques that you can heal your body, to actually take bite-sized elements of self-care into your day-to-day practice that will make you feel healthier. And it's really about understanding and listening to your body. I mean, a lot of how I work is how much love we have for ourselves, how much self-acceptance we hold, and how much stress we put ourselves in our body. And a lot of the time, if we don't believe we're enough. We think we have to do more. We're busy worrying. We create a stress within our mind and within our body. And when we're stressed, we create this heightened sympathetic nervous system, a heightened stress within the body. And this is fine for small amounts of time. In fact, we need this response system in our bodies to literally wake up in the morning. But if we're constant in this high alert aspect of our body, then we are actually causing inflammation and an imbalance of the body. And inflammation is actually what causes disease. So things like chronic fatigue, all these aspects will come back: arthritis, depression, brain fog, menopause. I know menopause is an aspect of process, but actually it can be aggravated quite severely if you're not if you're quite inflamed already in your body. So it's really about recognizing your stress levels, and I can give you a whole load of different techniques, and so will Anna and Kaz, and that would be really great. So if only just one thing that you can grab from this would be brilliant. So don't want to overload you with a whole load of different self-cares where you come away kind of completely sort of like, what hell just happened there? But it really about trying to give you these self-care aspects that you can try and introduce. And if there's just one thing that you can take away from this, that would be brilliant. So, and I think the key really is recognizing our stress patterns and where we're exerting our energy, because when we're depleting our energy levels from the stress in the mind or the physical stress, we are all constantly using up our resources, our mineral resources and our energy of our body. And which is fine when you're in a sort of, you've got those resources available to you, for instance, through the spring and the summer. But when it comes to winter months, so when the clocks change, these resources start to deplete. So our vitamin D levels drop down quite consistently, just because we're not within the sunlight. And also the CO2 and the oxygen levels change within the atmosphere. So once the leaves have dropped, the balance of the CO2 and oxygen actually changes within our atmosphere. And so we have less oxygen coming into our environments, which is often why we find that soon as these clocks start changing, we start to become a little bit, more ill. So to boost our immune system, we really need to be able to address our stress levels. And this will be, if you see what happens with nature and in winter months, it starts to slow down. It starts to go into hibernation. It goes into a more restorative period. So it loses its leaves, drops back into the soil to rejuvenate, to allow it to have space and time to come into the spring to grow. And if it didn't do this, what you would find, it become weaker and weaker, and it becomes more vulnerable to disease. Same. So if you saw that picture with the picture of the lungs and the picture of the trees, we are nature. We are intrinsic part of that. And actually, the more in tune that we can become in nature and adapt to the changing of seasons, then we will be much, much healthier in ourselves. So I would really take winter as a time to restore, to try and slow down, to try not to get swept away with the Christmas madness. I know we've gone past that now, but that's so much, we heighten up really heavily into stress, push to Christmas. And then we get ill. And that is because of our resources being used up through just exceptionally busy. So vitamin D is really key. So if you want to take away a little aspect, is actually looking at your vitamin D levels. That is really key. So actually the recommended dosage is something like 10,000 international units. So if you're not taking a vitamin D supplement just yet, because you can't get it out in the sun anymore, the sun is just not strong enough, then have a look at taking the supplements there, the D3. And the other key thing as well about bringing in our natural immune system to fight any pathogens, we actually have to look at how we're breathing, which I know Kaz will come into that in a lot more detail and do the practice with you. But a lot of us actually tend to breathe through our mouth. And what that isn't doing is capturing the pathogens, the viruses that are in our environment. So actually when you breathe in through your nose, you are actually, the mucus lining that you have will capture those pathogens, take it down into your stomach and get rid of them. That's if you've got good amount of mucus lining and you've got a good stomach function. So, you know, to make sure that you've got good mucus lining is actually having high zinc levels, so good sort of like organic chicken, and to also have vitamin A. So it's really key at looking at what minerals that you've got going on at present, because that is really good. The innate immune system will capture these viruses and these pathogens before you even know about it, and actually do all the work without necessarily recognizing that it's actually happened. So that is really sort of quite key about our breathing, getting oxygen in our lungs, because we all tend to like want to just hibernate and hide in our houses, and we have our windows shut, we don't have enough oxygen coming in, and we're certainly not getting enough sunlight. So I would really recommend get your walking boots on and get out there and breathe in and breathe in through your nose, really experience nature and the beauty that is out there, and that will really ground you, and that grounding aspect will calm your nervous system. And when your nervous system comes into what we call the parasympathetic nervous system, that's when our bodies start to heal. So that is really important. So I just would probably also mention just the other thing actually is really about hydration, to keep hydrated, to keep your mucus levels. So I don't know how much water you drink, but it can, you know, it varies in terms of what each person needs depending on age and how active they are. But, you know, a good sort of 4 pints of water, and I would recommend warm water at this time of year, would be really helpful, because it helps the body absorb. And if you can bring in warm water with lemon, that is exceptionally helpful as well. And it is known to actually, if you can help your hydrogen levels. So without hydrogen, we can't actually absorb water. So good carbohydrates as well will assist you in bringing in hydrogen, which reduces our oxidative stress. So hopefully that is probably, I mean, there's so much I could actually say, but it's really making sure that I can give you just a couple of key things, really, because it's the hydration is really important for our kidney health, and it is kidney time, and our kidneys are constantly cleaning our blood every 24 hours. So every day you've got a fresh amount of blood. And if your kidneys aren't functioning as well alongside the liver, then you will find that we're not letting go enough. And it's this toxicity that builds up that actually depletes and compromises our immune system. So what I would do is I probably would like to pass it over to Anna. But if you, like I say, if you've got any questions with regards to, you know, all these other techniques, please just put them on the chat and we can work with that afterwards. Okay, so I'm going to bring Anna in again. Like I say, she's a lovely health coach, and she's going to bring in a little bit more information about how our gut health is so intrinsic to our immune system. Thank you, Anna.
Thanks, Gemma. Can you hear me? Sorry. Oh, hello? Yes, you can hear me. Yes. Yes, I'm a holistic health coach. I specialize in the gut and microbiome. My company is called Health is Wealth. I believe in bio-individuality, which is what is beneficial to one person could be poison for another. So I'll just tell you about the digestive process. It takes about 24 to 72 hours for depending on the person. It factors in the food you eat and the state you ate the food. Also, I just want to tell you about the stomach produces hydrochloric acid with a pH balance of 2. So if you spill your stomach acid on your hand, it would burn your hand. And then just for your information, the small intestines is about 20 feet long, so it will cover a tennis court. And most of the absorption, it takes place in the small intestines, and the colon varies from person to person. I'll take you through the development of the microbiome. Did you know that the microbiome is actually established during the birth process, whether you were a vaginal birth or whether you were cesarean birth, and whether you were breastfed or bottle fed, and whether as a child you were giving antibiotics or not. Now, the microbiome is very, very important because it's important for our immune system and our overall health. I'll take you through, to support your microbiome, I'll take you through a garden analogy. You weed, seed, and feed your garden. And when I say weed your garden, you eliminate some foods to establish a healthy microbiome. Eliminating processed foods, sugar, additives, emulsifiers, artificial sweeteners, excessive alcohol intake. That I would like, if there's one thing that you get out of this, is just to reduce all these highly processed foods. The next thing is to seed your garden. And that is, I've just got my notes. It's just eating colorful fruits and vegetables. So the little doable things is just increase your vegetable intake, eat more colorful fruits, a rainbow of fruits. And then important is the healthy fats, the omega-3, and grass-fed organic beef or chicken, pasture-raised animals, pasture-raised chickens for your eggs. And then you feed your garden with probiotic and prebiotic. Now, people have asked me, what's the difference between a probiotic and a prebiotic? The difference is, again, the garden analogy. The probiotic is the lawn and the prebiotic is the fertilizer. So probiotics are fermented foods like kimchi, kombucha, sauerkraut, yogurt. They are all probiotics, miso soup. The prebiotics are the non-digestible fiber, like onions and garlic, asparagus, green bananas, cooked and cold rice. So if you're eating sushi, that's a prebiotic because it's cooked and cold rice. And these actually all support your gut. And I will take you now, because there's a connection to the gut-brain connection, because the gut is actually our second brain. It's actually connected through the vagus nerve, which is the cranial nerve that extends from the bottom of our brain and extends to the colon. And it's really important for our digestive system. The gut-brain axis is connected through neurotransmitters. Now, the gut and brain produce serotonin, for example. But did you know that over 90% of the serotonin is actually produced in the gut? I actually, before I did my course, I actually thought the serotonin was produced in the brain. You know, it is the brain produces serotonin, but I didn't realize that most of the serotonin is actually produced, over 95% is produced in the gut. Now, the vagus nerve is let's say, the captain of the nervous system. In order, this is where the connection is, in order to support a healthy gut and brain axis, as I mentioned, you need your healthy fats, like your omega-3 fats. Let's say olive oil, avocados, coconut oil, oily fish. So you need to have that. Then you need your probiotics, your fermented foods, your prebiotics, which are non-digestible, onion, garlic, green bananas, vegetables. And then very important are the polyphenols, which are berries like blueberries, and red wine is a polyphenol. Polyphenols are they're powerful antioxidants. They're micronutrients. They're they're anti-inflammatory. You mentioned that, Gemma. You know, it's good for inflammation in the body. And then you've got the tryptophans, which is an amino acid that converts into neurotransmitter serotonin. And this you get from eggs and cheese and turkey. And so there is a big difference, you know, with, there is a lot. So the gut and brain are really, really connected for your overall health and for your immune system. And then Gemma touched on, it's not all about food. It's also about engaging your parasympathetic nervous system. You know, like breathing, yoga, walking in the garden, just going for a doable walk. Let's say, I always tell my clients, instead of going for a 1 hour walk, if it's not doable for you, start off with 10 minutes walking and then increase it slowly. Because if you say, I'm going to walk every day for an hour, maybe you just don't have the time to do it, and then after that, then you stop doing it altogether. So another thing about engaging the parasympathetic nervous system is, you know, when you're eating, you know, loads of people eat with they're looking at their phones, they've got the television on. So you're actually you're engaging your sympathetic nervous system, which is the fight or flight, which is not good for your food digestion. So you should try and engage the parasympathetic nervous system by really being in the now with your food. So when I actually sit down and eat a meal, I actually turn off everything. There's no phones on the table, no computers. You just sit down, appreciate your food, appreciate the fact that the farmer actually grew the vegetables, looked after the animals, and make a conscious effort to chew your food and breathe, and, you know, chew your food, put your fork and knife down, and just really, really enjoy your food. So you're actually, by doing this, it's better for your digestion because you're eating properly and you're chewing your food, and you're engaging your parasympathetic nervous system. So on that note, I'm going to pass you on to Cassandra, because she's going to talk about breathing and yoga and all that. So I'll pass you on to Cassandra.
Thanks, Anna. Hi, everybody. I really appreciated what you had to say there, and specifically about the journey of health and finding ways of healing our body that is so individualistic. It's not a, one size fits all. We really are on this journey in life, and we have to find what works for us when we're given a situation that is challenging. And I'm going to speak through from my own experience to begin with. I just want to introduce myself and share with you a little bit of what has actually brought me to this point. So I've been practicing yoga for 21 odd years now, and I thought when I discovered yoga that it was the be all and end all, and I could give up doing literally everything else, because it kind of fed my soul and it gave me something that really inspired my life, and I guess energized my life. And we are all little bundles of energy vibrating at different levels. So the more I did yoga, the more I stretched my ligaments and my body, and I felt great. But it came a time where old injuries started catching up, and I think it's part of the aging process. But I don't like to try and understand everything. I really try and just feel into stuff as much as possible. But I ignored the pain because I'm a yoga teacher, okay, and I've got to show up, and I've got to be able to move effortlessly. And it got to the point where I was in a huge state of inflammation in my lower spine, and this was about 4.5 years ago. So it took me another year to actually go and have the x-rays and have the chat with the consultants, and I was referred to the physio. And when they looked at me and they saw the x-rays, they said that the x-rays actually didn't belong to this body. That's like they're really bad and you need a bilateral hip replacement. And I'm going, but I'm a yoga teacher, how do I handle that? And I said, what is the worst case scenario? What if I say no to the bilateral hip replacement and find another way? They said, no, there isn't another way. You've got a degenerative bone condition and you're going to end up in a wheelchair if you don't have the hip replacement. And I went away and I thought, well, that doesn't fit right with me. I kind of reached a really low point with that prognosis. And I had to do some very deep soul searching and obviously reach out to certain people. And this is the amazing thing about life and energy, that if we are following our intuition, which is another word and a more comfortable word, I think, for a lot of people, because it's literally spiritual awareness. It's having that connection. And I looked around at the people that were in my sphere through yoga. There were healers coming to my yoga class. There was a chiropractor who was really rated. I was referred to another Kundalini yoga teacher who happened to be an acupuncturist. So I consulted both of those, and I decided that I was going to take control of the situation and I was going to start walking. So given the fact that I gave up walking, well, I mean, I used to go hiking and bouldering and rock climbing and stuff when I was in South Africa, but that was more than 8 years ago, like 9-10 years ago now. So when I came to the UK, I didn't actually get into that. It was just more and more yoga, and the instability in my joints is basically what caused that inflammation. And ultimately I was able to start walking, and as Anna said, I started slowly, and I've kind of taken 4 years to build up to an average of 4,500 steps a day, sometimes 6,000 steps a day. And I have managed to build strength in my body through targeted exercises and then looking at my diet to reduce the inflammation. And basically after 3 years I went back for my third set of x-rays, and the hip team at the RD&E said that they would take me off the list. I don't need a hip replacement any longer. My bones have solidified So they can't believe it, and they're just saying, whatever you're doing, carry on doing it. And I can feel it in my body. Okay. So what I want us to do now is just kind of tap into that parasympathetic nervous state. And they're very easy little hacks that you can do during the course of your day. So I want you to come seated so that your feet are flat to the floor, about hip distance apart, and you're sitting up nice and straight. Away from the back of the chair if possible, and rest your hands on the top of your thighs. And just simply close your eyes. And notice how your breath is. Don't try and change it. Just be aware. It may be very jagged. It may be quite slow. It might be shallow. That's all okay. And now I want you to start taking a nice, deep, full belly breath. So really fill that stomach with air through the nostrils and release it completely out through the nostrils again. Just remembering what Gemma said about our nose is designed for breath. It filters the air. Another nice deep breath in, really allowing those ribs to expand. Pausing at the top of the inhale, just resting there, and then letting it go. Nice slow deep exhale, pausing again at the end of the exhale. One last deep slow breath in. And out. And now return to normal breathing. So this is known as a vibration changing breath. And I want to specifically now mention to you something about the kidney function as a means of supporting your immunity. So in winter, our kidney function slows down because it's cold, and a lot of the vital energy in our body kind of lowers and reduces. And there are ways that we can stimulate this energy. And one of the most important things is by drinking more water, but it has to be at least body temperature. So it doesn't have to be hot, but it needs to be warmer than room temperature if you can guide your body to drink that. And the warmer the better, actually, but not hot, obviously, boiling. Keep it lukewarm. Taking little sips often is more important than just gulping down a whole glassful at a time. So you maintain a level of hydration. This supports your kidney function. And then a massage for the kidneys. Another really simple little exercise that we can do right here and right now. You're going to bring your hands so that your fingers and your thumbs are aligned. And then finding the area of where your kidneys are, which is literally just below your waistline on your back. So hopefully you can lean forward a little bit and get your arms to, or your hands to press into your lower spine, just alongside the spine. And then I want you to start slapping your hands onto this area. And you can go faster and faster. Doesn't have to be hard, but it's like drumming. Okay, so with time, you can build this up to about 2 or 3 minutes. But this is known as a kidney stimulating massage. And now gently coming to a stop, holding the kidneys, take a nice deep breath in. And exhale it out. So as far as our immunity is concerned, the kidneys play such a vital role because they are the base of what is known as an energy pyramid in yoga speak. And this energy pyramid is where we store the fluid and it gets processed on a physical level, but on an energetic level, it's where prana or vital life force, chi, gets stored in our body. So if we're running low on vital life force energy, we are pretty much dead. We cannot move around. We cannot engage and connect with other people. We are basically inert and exhausted and depleted. So the adrenals sit just above the kidneys, and I'm pretty sure heard of adrenal exhaustion, because that's kind of overloaded adrenal function as far as the adrenaline, which is a hormone, and the cortisol are concerned, and that feeds into the fight, flight, fight, freeze function of our sympathetic nervous system. And basically turning it off, finding ways to switch it off so that we engage with the parasympathetic, brings that balance back. But that vital life force energy, or that juice, is known as ojas, and it is what enables the flow of life through us. So by building the capacity of the kidney function, that enables the prana to fill up the little reservoir that is held in the kidneys, where the prana gets stored and then can be utilized throughout the body, through the heart, and out into our electromagnetic force field, which is where we draw into our lives all that we deserve, all that we are entitled to, which is our birthright. And having a high state of energy in order to function effectively is pretty much what that function of kidneys and ojas and spiritual juice and intuition is all about. So there are other breathing techniques, and one of them to switch out of a high state of anxiety or stress is breath of fire. So you meet fire with fire. Okay, so when you're feeling all strung out and all stressed or whatever, this is one of the best ways to actually transform that energy into something that is usable. You're channeling that energy. And breath of fire is an active inhale and exhale. It's equal in potency, and it's done through the nose, only through the nose, but it's kind of stimulated from your diaphragm, which is below your chest center, kind of in line with the solar plexus. So I want you to just bring your hands underneath or just onto the ribs below your sternum. And exhale completely, drawing that diaphragm in. And then inhale, allow it come out. Exhale again from the diaphragm. And inhale, release it. And now I want you to double time. You can close your eyes and just carry on doing this breath pattern. What will probably happen is you'll get a stitch. That's okay. Then you just return to normal breathing. We're only going to do this for about 20 or 30 seconds. Well done. Exhale completely. And return to normal breathing. Just observe how your body's feeling. So breath of fire is also a beautiful way of increasing the heat and raising the core body temperature, which is what our kidneys are needing in winter. Okay. So I'm looking forward to some questions. I hope you've got a lot for us. And if we don't know the answers, then we'll pretty much tell you, we'll get back to you. But I'm going to hand over to Gemma. Thank you so much for listening.
Thanks, Kaz.
Your sound's gone. I didn't hear that. Your sound went all wonky.
Is it gone? Can you hear me now?
I can now.
You can. Lovely. Okay, well, thank you, Kaz. That was lovely. And thank you to Anna as well. I think it's really key to be able to have like different avenues and aspects of how to see our health, and each of you will resonate differently to us individuals, and there's no right or wrong. It's just what feels right in your gut, which will be what feels good for you. And I think so. Hope just to like give you a little bit of a recap on terms of just highlighting of how to improve your immune system is be aware of your attention. Where your attention goes is where your energy flows. So we have to be really mindful of our energy levels come winter, because if you imagine it like a bank account, we have our current and our savings account, and general day-to-day life is you're using a current account. But if your day-to-day life has to keep dipping into your savings, when a large bill comes along, like an illness or something like that, your body doesn't have the energy to cope with that illness. So a lot of the time when we've got like, COVID's around and we've got other illnesses and things, there are more viruses and bacteria than there are stars in the universe. So if you can just take into the fact that it's not actually so much what's happening out there, because those viruses are always there, it's more to do with how healthy we are and our relationship with this environment. So, when you suddenly become ill, or you feel like you suddenly become ill, it's because something has been happening in your body that has reduced your energy levels to the point that it can't fight. Especially, sometimes you just get a cold sniffle and it's gone. And that's probably because your energy levels are really good. And that's because you're nurturing yourself. But if you're low and you're constantly in your day-to-day basis attacking your savings account, you're not going to have that energy to fight it. So it's really, really important. I can't stress it enough that actually self-care is so important. It is actually a necessity, not a luxury. And I know it's a luxury coming to have a treatment and different things like this, like, that I can offer, and both Anna and Kaz can. But there are so many things that you can do in your day-to-day life that will help empower and strengthen your immune system. Because our energy levels, our balance and flow is all to do about immunity. It's about what we take in and what we let out. And if we haven't got this balance of in and out and flow, we have this toxicity, we have this inflammation, we deplete in our energy levels, and it's just this cycle. So it's creating space for you every day, not when you allow yourself a holiday, a couple of weeks a year. It's every day self-care. It's tuning into your body and seeing what your body wants from you. And it can be a matter of just a few minutes of deep breathing, that diaphragmatic breathing, that connection, that moving of the organs, the vagus nerve, which is really key for heightening our immune system. There's so many things, and it's knowing that you're worthy enough and not to feel guilty to create that space and time for you. And it's something that I've had to work through with my life, and especially having children, you think you have to just pour all your energy into them, and that basically knackers you really. So it's about just recognizing that you're just as worthy, you're just as important, and to break that old belief system that by looking after yourself first isn't selfish. Actually, it's important for you to show up as you, in your full energy, in your full light, for your full power as you are, is so important for those people that you wish to support around you. People can't drink from an empty well. And so just imagine yourself just giving you that energy first, and then what you have just abundantly flows to others people, but you have to work with yourself first. And I can probably talk forever, as you can probably tell, but it's just really just kind of making sure you're creating space for you, how you're breathing. Just be conscious and be aware. And when you have awareness, you can make these conscious changes and choices for food, lifestyle, stress, emotions. So I'm going to stop talking, which is good. And I will actually pause the recording and on live as well. And I really would welcome as much, questions that you have for us. So if you just give me a moment, I'll just press pause. And firstly, now just actually ask you, how empowered you feel about your health now? So where do you score on that 1 to 10 level I hope it's eked its way up, but and just to have that mind. And what we're also doing is this is part of what we're wanting to do, this whole health empowerment for people, and it's about sharing what we know to help you empower yourself. We're actually doing a little a day in the beginning of March. It's just going to be a couple of hours, but it's actually be a physical come to just outside of Honiton, where we will again talk into the depth of food and how to cleanse and reduce the toxicity in our bodies, to really come within our body through yoga, through an element of sound therapy, and just to give you a little bit of what's going on with your body in the season of spring and how to sort of adapt to that. So if you are interested, please let us know. We will do like an early bird offer as well. And if you'd like to email me on remedialtc@gmail.com, and then we can, send out some further details on that. But that would be really nice to have people in a room. I think people will get a bit more confident then, and to just be able to share that experience with each other. Okay, and I'm just going to close this with just a little few affirmations to feeling good in our bodies. So if you're ready, just close your eyes, or if you just feel comfortable, have them slightly open, that's up to you. And bring to your heart, so your left hand and then your right hand over. Allow your shoulders to relax. Allow your feet to touch the ground. Just feel your seat bones. And imagine your heart now as your lungs. So to breathe, you need to open your heart. You even imagine there's a beautiful warmth, the sun, like you would do in a beautiful summer's day where the sun is just shining on you and you're just absorbing this beautiful energy, this beautiful light. Just feeling your body softening. Letting go of those edges, those stresses. Any of those tensions, worries, just imagine them softening, letting go, draining out from your body, out from your feet. Just setting the intention to let go, to be free. Feel that beautiful breath expanding into your heart. See if you can extend it down to your stomach. Like you're creating this beautiful bubble. Even seeing if you can imagine your breath extending out from your body. Breathing out, letting go. And just allow these words to come into your cells, the fabric of your body. I am safe. I am supported. I am love, and I am loved. And I am enough, just the way I am. Allow your heart to receive those words. Let them resonate through your body. Allow that to be your truth. To know that you are already a miracle. Just the way you are. And those three words, I am enough. Just let that float within you. Taking a beautiful breath when you're ready. With a little smile, just to know that you've got this. And then when you're ready, just relax and gently open your eyes. Okay. Thank you for being with us tonight. It's a true honor to have you come and share your evening with us. So thank you very much. If you're not already, feel free to follow us. I will put all the details, contact information for Kaz and Anna if you're on my Remedial Therapy Clinic page. And yeah, just hopefully enjoy this journey, and we can support you through this whole healing journey that we all are going through. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. Namaste.
Good night, everybody.
Night night.
Thanks, Gemma.
Thank you, Kaz. Thank you so much, you two. It's been lovely. Pleasure to have you both. Thank you, Charlotte. I'll leave you all guys to just leave the meeting. I'll hold it open for now.